Hello, all, and welcome to Sportswire. This is your host, VJ, once again with the transfer update, this time on Chelsea. Of course, there are multiple topics that we have to discuss even today because Chelsea doesn't fail to disappoint us when it comes to the transfer window. And I'm happy to actually inform these kind of topics to you. I'm hoping that you guys as well are equally interested in knowing new things about Chelsea as and when it happens. But yeah, first of all, I'd like to extend my warm welcome to everyone who has joined us through the chat. Um, Now let's get started with respect to the Chelsea news. Of course, the first one being we have an Udinese game that is happening on 29th. So are we even ready for the game? Um, from what we understood, Chelsea had flown down back to the UK on Tuesday. On Monday, actually, they had a day off, and then they came back on Tuesday. They started training for a couple of days. They will be training for today and tomorrow as well. And the game is going to be on Friday. That's the Chelsea versus Udinese game. We're going to go to Udinese and play this game. So let's not forget that. There is a bit of a travel involved there as well. I think already Thomas Tuchel has hinted that he has issues with Chelsea traveling too much in terms of the preseason friendly. But it is what it is. I think he has to live with it because the problem is Chelsea's tour was in the USA, and obviously it was not in the same place in the USA. They wanted to maximize whatever they could possibly do. When it comes to the US tour, they probably wanted to have a lot of people, um, you know, getting to interact with Chelsea, thereby improving the brand value of Chelsea in the North American region. And that's probably the reason why they had those games as well. The first game that we had in the American tour was also against Club America. Though the name says Club America, they're part of the Liga Mexican. So the Liga Mexico is where they hail from. So it's a Mexican team basically. They're playing for I mean, they were winners, of course, in that region, and they gave a tough fight for Chelsea as well as today Real Madrid as well. The game ended in a 2-2 draw against Real Madrid today, Club America game. But it was lovely play from Karim Benzema. If you want to look at a traditional number 9 and learn the game, then Karim Benzema it is. Akbar Valentine has joined us in the chat as well. Akbar, thank you so much for joining in the stream. Please press that like button, and it'll be lovely if you guys can click on that like button. How many of it doesn't matter how many of you guys are here. Just press that like button. It really helps for the growth of the channel. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's completely free. So, yeah, now let's get to the topic for the day, and I believe Akbar as well wants to know what's the update there with respect to Wesley Fofana. Interesting candidate for Chelsea, of course, centre back who's going to be who has been playing in the Premier League for some time. Joined Leicester 2020, I believe, and has been playing with Leicester ever since. He had a very huge injury in the previous season that kept him out of the season. It was difficult for him to recover from that injury. Of course, it was an injury that was for the entire season. He missed out on the entire season, and the Leicester back four completely got depleted once Wesley Fofana was injured. So you could see the importance of what Wesley Fofana has brought in to a team like Leicester City and also Brendan Rodgers. The injury that was suffered by Fofana as well is in fact a fractured fibula. That's the injury that he had, and the entire season he had to miss on that. But a couple of concerns here as well when we talk about Wesley Fofana is that is he the right profile that Thomas Tuchel is looking for, or is that a panic buy? Yeah, because right now we know that we're probably not going to get Jules Koundé. So Chelsea are looking for alternative. That's something that we all know at this point in time. So if Chelsea are looking for alternative, and Wesley Fofana, almost popped out from nowhere, the interest for Wesley Fofana, of course, and Chelsea are considering bidding for Fofana. Now, there are a couple of concerns for me when it comes to this particular bid is that have we done enough of research to actually go to the market and get this player? The second concern would we be ready to pay the amount that Leicester would be demanding for someone like Wesley Fofana? Yeah, let's get one thing clear. Wesley Fofana is a very integral part of the Leicester setup, and he is not going to be easy to be acquired by Chelsea from Leicester. Yeah, and he's been in the plans of Brendan Rodgers ever since he was part of the squad. Now, a concern with the transfer fee, of course, is that it's in the range of 80 million, as reported by a lot of sports journalists. How much authentic is that information is altogether a different matter. But if what they were saying is true, that is, you have 70 to 80 million as your transfer target that you're looking for, or transfer budget that you're looking for to sign Wesley Fofana for the centre back position for Thomas Tuchel, would Chelsea want to consider that option? Because we know historically we've been rejecting certain bids once it goes from that particular margin, right? The margin that I'm talking about is Delict was close to 68 million, and we thought twice or thrice before even going above and beyond that fee. Even when it came to Jules Kounde's situation, we were pretty much stringent on that 55 million mark as well. But Wesley Fofana could be costing us 80 million euros. Is that a viable option for Chelsea? Will Chelsea, Todd Bowley and co consider bidding for someone like Wesley Fofana? But the advantages here, these are my questions, of course. But are there advantages to this signing? There definitely would be, because he's prem proven, obviously. And he is someone who would be suited for Thomas Tuchel's gameplay, of course. And let's look into more specifics around what this transfer could be. There was an article, of course, from Football.London. Adam Newson, the author of it, he's written a very good article. I gave it a read, and I'd like you guys as well to take a look at it. And let's probably take a look at it. Like, this is something which will provide you more context into what we're talking right now on Wesley Fofana. Guys, if you're joining just now, we're talking about Wesley Fofana's possibility of joining in Chelsea Football Club. It seems a realistic option now. And let's see the article from Football London, what it actually says, and how much of a realistic expectation is for Chelsea fans at this point in time to expect someone like Wesley Fofana in our club. Pradeep says, crazy, almost twice the amount we gave for Raheem Sterling. Yes, of course. And would we be in a position to splash the cash at this point in time? One reason that keeps my hopes alive with respect to this particular transfer is that Chelsea right now are going into a blitzkrieg panic mode. Yeah, they're probably planning to splash the cash around because they don't have an option at this point in time. Would that make them consider a 70 or an 80 million bid for Wesley Fofana? It's something that we'll have to wait and see. But then this is the article that we have. Let's probably run through it very quickly. I hope you guys can see my screen. If not, I'll just zoom in a bit more easy. It'll help you read along with me. Chelsea are now considering making a move for Leicester City centre-back Wesley Fofana. Football.London understands, with contact to the defender's entourage expected to be made this week. The Foxes defender recently signed an extension at the King Power Stadium, with his contract now due to expire in the summer of 2027. So he obviously has a very huge contract length. His contract is due expiration on 2027. If his contract is expiration on 2027, did he sign a 7-year contract? Because I believe he was signing for Leicester in 2020. So is that like a Harry Kane situation where he signed a 7-year long contract with them? Something we'll have to explore further. But then let's keep reading here. This, though, has seemingly not put Chelsea off in their interest in the 21-year-old defender. Let's not forget, guys, this is a 21-year-old defender. Yeah, the Blues, who have already brought Kalidou Koulibaly to Stamford Bridge, wants to sign at least one more central defender, with Thomas Tuchel's preference being another 2 centre backs. Basically, Thomas Tuchel wants at least 2 centre backs, but at least one of that is something that is mandatory right now. Pradeep says, interesting to know if Fafana was TT's 10th option. Todd Bowley needs a director of football. I couldn't agree more with you, Pradeep, on that point. We definitely need a director of football. Not just that, what option is what is the preference for Thomas Tuchel at this point in time? Because his options seem to be going out the window, either through Barcelona or we just flunking it at some point. Guys, we've got people watching the stream right now. Please press that like button if you're liking what you're hearing. Wesley Fofana could be a realistic target for Chelsea Football Club. If you like Wesley Fofana to be in our team, if you want us to go for it, please press that like button. Not saying that it's directly relevant, but then still, yeah. It's just marketing tactics, guys. But anyways, moving on further, Jules Koundé has been the name in the spotlight over the past week or so, but the France international is now poised to join Barcelona instead. The likes of Presnel Kimpembe, who Chelsea have held talks with Paris Saint-Germain for already, Milan Skriniar and Josko Guardiola remain options for the Blues, but Fofana could be the man the club switch their attention to now. What is something that is preventing them for going for someone like Guardiola and Skriniar? I don't know. But if the information that we're getting is true, maybe Chelsea is looking for more top quality signing, and Thomas Tuchel is not ready to back down on bigger names, and he still wants to go for a bigger names and wants a prem proven player is what I would assume. Yeah. um, Moving on further to read that, Fofana has been of interest to Chelsea virtually ever since he moved to Leicester in 2020. Yeah, he's moved to Chelsea, Leicester on 2020. So it's basically a 7-year contract, a 7-year long contract, guys. An advantage to a 7-year contract at this point in time is that usually 7-year contracts are longer in length, but then the wages are split across, which means that he is probably not a very high earner as much as what you would expect. And considering Leicester to be a club which doesn't pay that highly when in comparison with Chelsea, Chelsea should not be having a problem in having a player agreement sorted with Wesley Fofana. But the disadvantage or the downside to it is it's a long contract, which means that to break that contract and to get that player, which is almost like 4 years left on his contract, would be a lot more money than what we would like to. Yeah, that's the problem that we would have. It's almost similar to that of a Kepa situation or that of a Harry Kane situation, right? 6-year deals and 7-year deals are usually very hard to break because the transfer value would just keep inflating, because people would not want to pay that sort of a money, and they just wait for them to close their contract, which would be difficult for these players to move across as well. Guys, we've got 15 people right now watching the stream. Please press that like button. Helps the channel to reach a lot more people. And that is very important at this point in time, even for the growth of the channel. And I really want Chelsea to get this player. And if at all someone from Chelsea at least gets to see this video, maybe that helps, and we go for Wesley Fofana. Continuing to read what's written in the London article, football.london article, the young Frenchman excelled in his first season at the club, attracting plenty of potential suitors, but suffered a serious injury that kept him sidelined for the majority of the 2021-22 campaign. Yeah, like I told you, it was a fractured fibula. That's the injury that he suffered, and it kept him for the entire season out. Yeah, and you could see that void once Wesley Fofana, decided he's not probably going to feature in that 2021-22 campaign. Leicester were really struggling defensively, and it did not help the cause as well. Brendan Rodgers was really, shocked at that point in time. He didn't know how to react for the entire season. The Foxes man returned to action before the end of the last term, though, and is now hoping for a strong preseason under his belt before the new campaign kicks off. So he's basically in the preseason. He's returning towards the end. He actually returned towards the end, and I'm not sure how fit he is. And will he be capable of a very long season? Usually Chelsea season are very long, right? I mean, not just Chelsea's season, any club, but then Chelsea is a team which plays in multiple competitions. We have close to 60 games a season, so it's not going to be easy as that of Leicester. Not saying that Leicester doesn't play in all competitions, but they definitely do not play in the Champions League or Conference League, even for that matter of fact, which means that those games will be subtracted, and all you have is that comparatively lesser number of games than that of Chelsea. Reading further into it, Chelsea kicks off. Chelsea are hoping they can convince Fofana to start that new season at Stamford Bridge, but because of his contract situation, Leicester are in a very strong bargaining position. Yeah, like I told you, their contract situation is a bit skeptical at this point in time because, it's a long contract, guys. 7 years is definitely a long contract. Brendan Rodgers will be determined to keep hold of Fofana, who has established himself as one of the best young centre backs in the Premier League. Please note this point: one of the best young centre backs in the Premier League. Rodgers, who was in charge when Leicester completed the £36.5 million signing for Fofana 2 years ago, is a huge fan of the Frenchman. He was anyways his manager, and he wanted this player in the squad, and he signed him for £36.5 million. And out of that 2 years, 1 year completely went off due to an injury. So why would Brendan Rodgers want to sell Wesley Fofana is definitely a topic that needs to be addressed. Continuing to read further, his anticipation as a defender is top. He just has an inbuilt brain for the game. His reading of the game is great, Rodgers said in April of this year. When you hear this, are you guys not able to relate to someone else who's in our team who does the same thing for us? I'm going to read it once again so that you can easily relate to what I'm talking about or who I'm talking about. Please take a guess in the chat window as well. This particular sentence that I've highlighted right now in blue reflects perfectly of another candidate in Chelsea Football Club as well, a top defender. And he's usually referred with this particular context. Try finding out, and please put that on the comment section if you found that. I'm going to read that once again, though. His anticipation as a defender is top. He just has an inbuilt brain for the game. His reading of the game is great. Guys, have you figured out who that person is when it comes to Chelsea? I'm going to wait for you guys to comment on the comment section who that would be. But usually the reading of the game is great is something that we used to refer to one person in Chelsea Football Club, and we still do. Let me know in the comment section who that person is. Continuing to read that, Brendan Rodgers further goes on to say, with all due respect, he has no respect in terms of when he is on the field. So he doesn't have any respect on the field, which is again something of more of a Rudiger character. Just brings in that sort of a character is something that is good to watch as well. Guys, we've got 10 people watching the stream right now. Please press that like button if you're enjoying the stream, and if you want Wesley Fofana to join Chelsea and you like the content that is being provided as well. Reading further into it, he defends forward. He is aggressive, and in my experience, working with world-class players, they have got great human qualities outside of the field. But when they are on there, they are super aggressive, and that is exactly what he is. Rodgers added, he's unbelievable. He is very, very special, talented young player. He seems to be in love with this player. He really likes this talent. He defends forward is what he says. He's aggressive, and in my experience working with world-class players, so he's already classifying him to be a world-class player. They have got great human qualities outside of the field, but when they are on there, they're super aggressive, and this is exactly what he is. So in the pitch, he is super aggressive, but off the field, he's a very sweet person to talk to. That's what Rodgers says, and he further goes on to add, he is unbelievable. He is a very, very talented young player. So yeah, that's a given. You think again, he hasn't eaten all day, fasting at that time. So basically, when this was said in the month of April, he was fasting. It was only midnight through the game that he started to get some food on. Like after the game was completed, midway through the game is when he actually had some food on. I think it was night match, so maybe his fasting got over midway, and then he decided to take some food on. Until that, he was fasting. He is a phenomenal talent, and one that will go right to the very top of the game. So he has a lot of expectation on Wesley Fofana. Will that be a great signing? We'll have to wait and watch. Prashant is someone who's joined the chat as well. Prashant, he says Fofana is not an option for Tuchel. He might be um, only one who wants to join at this point in time. Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe Fofana is not someone Thomas Tuchel would look into, but yeah, we don't have options. Like it's almost like beggars can't be choosers. Yeah, that's where exactly we are at this point in time. Moving forward to read this, Gary Lineker, who's a well-known Leicester supporter, is also a huge fan of Fofana. Just a couple of months after he signed at the King Power, the match of the day presenter knew his club had found another gem. I mean, yeah, they all have high expectation, both pundits and as well as the manager himself on someone like Wesley Fofana. Why not? He's a top talent. He's a top young talent as well. Anyways, further, this is what Lineker has tweeted. Lineker tweeted, "Player alert: the excellent recruitment team at LCFC." What is this anyways, at LCFC have found another gem. Early to heap too much praise, but Wesley Fofana can sweep, he can leap, he can keep the ball, tweets. So I think he is more of, if you guys have failed to recognize, who exactly this profile matches, he's almost like another Thiago Silva. Yeah, a bit aggressive, but then still like a Thiago Silva on the pitch. He's a sweeper. He can be aggressive. He can leap very well. He can read the game better. His game sense is more. This is all very reflective of Thiago Silva. So, obviously not as talented as Thiago Silva, not as experienced as Thiago Silva, but probably has the potential to become someone like a Thiago Silva in the near future. But that is Wesley Fofana. That is what we have on Wesley Fofana as well, according to the article from football.london. My thoughts on this particular article is that it's a very good signing if at all we get this over the line. But would Thomas Tuchel really want Wesley Fofana, like Prashant asked, is something a bit of a question mark at this point in time. Prashant also goes forward to say, I think Barca only signed Dembele so they can sell him in the winter or next summer and make some cash, hence only a 2-year deal and no more gamble from Barcelona. Yeah, you could argue that, but the counter argument for that would be, at this point in time when they're struggling to even register players, would they even consider having players being re-signed just to get them sold on the next couple of windows? I'm a bit skeptical on that thought process, because right now you're already hearing reports from Barcelona's outlet. I think Mundo Deportivo also reported saying that today they actually reported saying that Jules Koundé deal is going to be difficult for Barcelona to get over the line. The complexity being that they have issues with registering this player. This is something that we keep hearing from Barcelona, to be fair, right? They have trouble registering players, new players and all that, but then they somehow find a way or somehow find a loophole to get the players registered to their squad. So I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona ends up not selling De Jong, but still getting Jules Koundé's deal over the line and adding him as well, into their squad and registering it. But that's probably the concern, right? For them, it's a bit difficult for them to register, so that's probably the reason. A lot of people still believe in the Chelsea community that Jules Koundé's deal can also, by any chance, if at all there is an option, it could just fall this way around. But anyways, it's all dreams at this point in time, and to be fair, I don't care anymore about the Jules Koundé situation because it's just pissed me off. Too bad. Prashant goes on to say Fofana at least fits the criteria for Thomas Tuchel. Yes, of course, he definitely does. 6'3". Maybe Tuchel wants to draft a player from NBA. Yeah, he's probably going to be looking at basketball players from now on. You want a huge lanky figure, then you want to go to NBA. Anyways, a bit of a banter there from Prashant. He also says very scared at this point in time for our season with the World Cup and Champions League players have to play 50 plus matches. Yeah, to be more precise, he's going to be. We are going to be playing close to 60 games with also World Cup coming in between, which means that we need to have a very good rotational players with very good set of rotational players that we should be deploying at every given point in time, given the lack of squad depth at this point in time for Thomas Tuchel, and the players do not suit Thomas Tuchel's system right now, and he's openly showing criticism about these players that he has on the team right now. It is definitely a point of concern, and you are right to be scared at this point in time, Prashant. It's going to be very difficult for us to move forward if we do not get a couple of signings over the line in the next 4 weeks that is left in the transfer window. Prashant says, I don't know how we will avoid injuries and perform at the same with current squad. Even top four looks like a dream. Yeah, top four definitely is a dream. What you're saying absolutely makes sense because, usually for Chelsea in the last few years, top four was almost like a given because we somehow ended up even switching and chopping the managers to find some manager that could take us to top four. That's not going to be anymore the situation because the new ownership, at least I believe, is not someone that will chop and change the managers as early it was like in the Roman era. So things are going to be difficult. It's not going to be as easy to get top four, and the way that the rivals have strengthened their own squad is a bit in that position as well, because all of them have recovered from COVID slowly, and right now they kind of have a good plan, a set plan to move in the transfer market, and that's the reason why you're seeing a lot of transfers that is happening in this transfer window. The last transfer window was a bit quiet when compared to this one because they did not know how to invest, and is that the right time to invest as well, because COVID was so much in the world, and people did not know what was going to happen later, and they did not want to have certain investments that could end up as a bad debt for the club. But right now it's going to be a bit skeptical when it comes to the transfer window, because a lot of top teams are moving mad in this transfer window. Tebago's asking for the link. Tebago, yeah, I'm sending you the link right now, brother. Just give me a second. There you go. Yeah, I've just sent you the link. Feel free to join whenever you want. Prashant says, "Ignore my typo. I'm eating dinner. No problem. It's 8:15 here. It's 8:45 here in India, so I understand." Jules Kude. This is Daniel. Daniel, welcome to the stream as well. Guys, we've got 20 people close to watching the stream right now. Please press that like button if you like this conversation, where it is heading. We are right now interested in Wesley Fofana. It could become a reality given that Chelsea are right now going for panic buys. Why not Wesley Fofana? Go for a Prem proven talent. Why not? That option is my question. Yes, of course, there are facets of his game that even I do not like, and he could end up having a recurring injury. Hopefully he does not, even if he's playing for Leicester, because injury is never a good thing for any professional or for any human being. So I wouldn't want to wish injury an injury on Wesley Fofana, not just him, any human being. So what if it is a recurring injury? If that is something that is going to happen, then the investment that is going from Chelsea would be a bit of a bad debt. Yeah, that's the risk that we need to be taking at this point in time, because it's just panic buy, guys. Let's agree to this this point at least, where it's just panic buys, because we've lost all the top talents that we should be looking for, because we revealed so much of details that we should not be revealing in this transfer window, and that has come back to bite us in the back, and we're kind of reacting to the situation. We're not being proactive at this point in time. You of course cannot expect Chelsea leadership to have been proactive, because the time when the entire transfer of ownership saga happened, and then we really did not have time, because already the transfer window was on the verge of opening. And then once the transfer window opened, we had to do a lot of leadership chopping and changing, post which we of course ended up getting a couple of signings in Raheem Sterling and Khalidou Koulibaly. Not to say that they are bad players; they're absolutely brilliant players for and gem of a talent that we've been able to procure for Chelsea Football Club. But that this is definitely not enough, because Thomas Tuchel is expecting at least 4 signings to go through this window, and which is very much of a dream at this point in time. And that's the reason why I'm thinking, are we even ready for the Premier League right now at this point in time? Let me read Daniel Crane's comment as well. Jules Koundé to Barcelona. Here we go. Verbal agreement now in place with Sevilla after a long saga, and further negotiations today, waiting to get it signed soon. Wait, is that from Fabrizio Romano? Let me
Yes,
quickly check if it
yes.
is. Oh, all right. While I was streaming, I think this is something that happened. I don't know. Maybe the time that I'm streaming is a bit concerning, because whenever I stream, there seems to be some signing or some important news that is going on. I'm quickly presenting my screen. This is for you guys, coming straight from Fabrizio Romano on the Twitter page. Here we go, says Fabrizio Romano. Jules Koundé to Barcelona. Here we go. Verbal contract now in place with Sevilla after the long saga and further negotiations today, waiting to get it signed soon. Jules Koundé agreed personal terms with Barca last weekend. Contract ready. Xavi, key factor again. Xavi definitely has played a key factor in all these transfer sagas, because he has a good market pull at this point in time. We can not deny that fact. So, Daniel Crane, thanks for posting that here on the comment section. Of course, this was very useful for us. And with that, the Jules Koundé situation has come to an end, with Chelsea taking another EL in this transfer window. That too with Barcelona. We lost Rafinha before, we lost Jules Koundé now. You could argue that it was two different situations, but then the end result is still the same, where we have lost a couple of players to Barcelona in this transfer window. And though we fail to accept it, Barcelona at this point in time are moving mad in this transfer window. And not sure how they're going to register players and how they're going to be coming from a financial standpoint, a recovery from here. But all that is for Barcelona fans to worry. At this point in time, Chelsea loses its second player to Barcelona in this transfer window. Your thoughts on this, Debago? Welcome, first of all, to the channel. Always a pleasure to have you guys on the chat. Please check out Tobago's channel as well. If you can just quickly talk 2 words about your channel as well, Tobago, because a lot of people might not know where to actually look into. So just let them know what is your channel's name, and then also a couple of words about the channel. Also, just give us your thoughts about this Jules Koundé situation.
Okay. Uh, First of all, thank you for having me. The name of my channel is the Coolest Charles, and then I did my channel in order to express my feelings about Chelsea Football Club. So every Chelsea fan is welcome to be there. And then if you want the link, for example, if I'm streaming, you can come and DM me as the link. I'll send you the link just so that you can talk, discuss or talk about Chelsea, because we all fans, Chelsea fans, and then it's so good to have different types of opinions or options from Chelsea fans. So the name of my channel is the Coolest Chelsea, and again with Just Kunde. To be honest, I think, man, I think we were unfortunate to have the same wanting the same targets as Barcelona one day, because like if we can have a logic into this, if a player have to choose between Chelsea and Barcelona, it's always gonna be Barcelona again. And also Barcelona now they have a sporting director, they have a president, they have who's that Cranky. I don't know his role. So they have a lot of experienced people there in the bar. And also, again, Barcelona, they're banking on Super League might come again in order to fix this mess. And again, they are banking that they should win trophies. If not, they will be still in trouble. So it's a gamble for them, but again, it's a win-win situation for them. And I can see why they are looking at the top players, because they want to win in order to be successful. But again, it's risky. Anyway, if Chelsea was doing this, I'm sure we would have been banned long time ago. But again, I don't want to be complain about this. Congratulations to Barcelona. They got their targets. Hopefully, Tuchel and Tuchel will learn from this. If you're looking for a player, we need to secure the player ASAP because, like,
Absolutely.
because like we already agreed terms with Juskunde. If he was our priority and then we prioritize him, we should have got him before linking up with Delete, Ake, Kimpembe, and others. But again, it's fine. Sometimes we need to learn the hardest way. And the transfer market is still open. So we're gonna get players. Hopefully we're gonna get them because like I don't want to say we're going to get them and we end up not getting them. I still have a confidence.
Absolutely, what you're saying makes utmost sense. First of all, when you said about banking on this Super League happening is something that could be, on Barcelona's mind. But if that doesn't happen, will they still be able to come out from that situation? Is something that we have to wait and see. Because with Barcelona, it's always surprises on how they've managed to find money. So I'm not going to comment on that. But then it's definitely a point of concern for Thomas Tuchel and Todd Bowley's new ownership. This is what I usually do to reduce my stress, and I'm kind of doing this right now as well because we've just lost another deal to Barcelona, and I'm really pissed off about it. Either way, I'm not sure if this will help at this point in time, but yeah, it's something that pisses me off, losing to another Spanish club, same Spanish club for the second time in this transfer window. Guys, if you're watching the stream right now live, please press that like button. If you're watching it across Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, we are of course live on all these platforms right now. So wherever it is, please leave a like, and if it is a Twitter, obviously a retweet would be a very much appreciated, so that it can reach a lot more people. We'll continue to read a bit of a comment section, comments as well, and then slowly discuss onto the Wesley Fofana situation as well, because I want to hear about Wesley Fofana's deal from Tobago, what he thinks about it. Of course, I have given my perspective already, but then I want to understand what is Tobago's perspective on this. Guys, if you want to also jump in and have your say live in the air, there is always the link open. So just ping me on Twitter, and I will send you across the link as well. There is a Discord channel as well that we continuously post and interact as a community. I'll put the Discord link maybe add to the description in today's video later, and you guys can take a look at that. And if you want to join this Discord server, please feel free to. Pradeep says, before any deal, Chelsea will do a medical, especially for a big price tag. Yeah. I mean, we will.
But
do
again,
a medical.
VJ,
Yeah.
The way Chelsea wanted to do with Chuskunde, again, is understandable because like he was from a huge injury. They wanted him to get a medical, and then they'll also like say no, we are going to sign him. But again, we lose out on Barcelona, and then if things were one way card for Barcelona, for example, Chuskunde get injured, that means we got out from a huge bullet. And anything can happen, but I wish the guy well. I don't want to wish for other teams bad again, but hopefully we'll be able to face them in the Champions League just to settle the score, man. I just want to settle the score.
Absolutely. I mean, that would be really lovely if at all we get matched, against each other in the group stages. Not even, I don't want to match even in the group stages. I want to match in a knockout phase so that we can just send Barcelona home, in this Champions League. Do we have that capability to do it? Absolutely we do. I trust Thomas Tuchel to bring out the best tactics, of course. This is Xavi that we're talking about, not to undermine Xavi, don't get me wrong. I'm not undermining Xavi at any point in time, but of course I believe that Thomas Tuchel is a more experienced coach in dealing with these high pressure situations when it comes to Champions League, of course. And Champions League history for Thomas Tuchel has been realistically very good, and that's the reason why I hope Chelsea will be able to get over the line when it comes to winning against Barcelona in a knockout phase tournament. Reading further into the comment section, this is Prashant who's saying that Todd should ask Terry to help him until we get sporting director, or maybe he can play one more season. meh, another. I wouldn't be so much excited in doing that. The reason why I say that is, first of all, I'm not doubting Terry for a moment even, but then Terry was also involved as part of another buyer. Recently, he came as another buyer. He was part of a consortium for another buyer, and he tried to buy Chelsea. So I'm not sure about right now the relationship between Todd Bowley and John Terry. But if the relationship is still strong as what we would like to, then maybe John Terry is a good call as well. But as a sporting director, I'm not sure if he has the necessary experience to handle that as well as another part, another thing I'd be more concerned as well. But maybe, I mean, this is going to be a bit of a
I have a
um,
feeling.
controversy. Yeah, just a second. This is going to be a bit of a controversy here, but I'm just probably going to throw it out there and hear from your perspective. Would Ralph Rangnick be a good option as your director of football temporarily, at least for the next year or two? He
Hundred
has
percent,
experience. Hmm.
hundred
Go on.
percent. He has the experience because, like, if you can check the teams that he built under a sporting director role, oh my gosh! And he likes to bring talent, fresh and young players that want to play for the teams. And then what I like about young players, if they don't work out, you have an option to sell them. Right? And for example, if we got Lukaku, we are not able to sell him, we have to loan him, and then there's a huge loss for the club. So, and also, I'm not doubting Todd Bowley's abilities of negotiation. Unfortunately, it's not a well equipped with football negotiations, but again, hopefully, it's a learning curve for him. And then Bagwag Akbali, sorry, just to I hope I'm not saying this wrong because like on Juskunde, Boli and Akbari. So hopefully there is a learning curve for them, both of them. Also, you asked me something about Fafana. Oh man, I would love to have him, but again, I don't see Leicester City reducing the price tag because, like, apparently he signed a 2 years contract, which his contract is expiring at 2027. So, how much
Yes.
Leicester, how much Leicester is willing to sell to us, unless they are really desperate, as like reports are saying, like Leicester City now is desperate to sell players in order to make money and just to buy other targets. Unless it is that situation, if it's that situation, maybe we can get him to for 60, 65. That would be a still good business for us. But again, we'll wait and see. Hopefully we sign him so that the fans can be happy, so that we can have something to talk about. Because like
Tell me one thing, though, Tobacco. So,
yes,
Ben Chilwell was initially valued at 80 million as well,
yes.
at the initial stages of negotiations. But then we managed to get him for a fee of 50 million. Do you think we can still do another, similar kind of a deal with Leicester, or do you think that was just a one-time thing, and this is not something that Leicester would agree to once again?
To be honest, I think we can do a similar deal because like now they're desperate.
Hmm.
Unless they're not willing to sell him, then if they're not willing to sell him, for example, we can. I'm sorry, like we can't buy a player for 18 million anymore. Like I hate it because like sometimes those players come here and
The,
they've
the, the,
sort of
the fact that we are ready to spend 80 million always just that particular 80 million is a number that always makes me relate to Harry Maguire. We all saw how different or how bad that went south. So I mean, 80 million is something that of course Manchester United paid for Harry Maguire, and that definitely was on their face, definitely is not something that they would be happy with respect to that deal. But sorry to cut you off there, but let me quickly read a couple of comments and then get back to you
no
on this Wesley
problem.
Fofana situation. Prashant says every player is trying to save the Barcelona from a turmoil and gain the glory. They think themselves as heroes. Xavi is selling this project to them, that join Barca, save it, and get immortalized in history. I mean, what a way to get immortalized, of course. And if this is what he is selling as a project, then he definitely has some scaling. Some sort of a selling skills. I'd give it to that person, Xavi, of course. And we've got 20 people right now watching the stream, guys. We are 12 short of 300 subscriber mark. So press that like button if you're hearing. If you're liking what you're hearing, I hope whatever we are talking here is something that is of interest to you. We're trying to talk Chelsea on a day-to-day basis. 8:15 p.m. IST is what we talk, which is also roughly translates to 3:45 p.m. UK time. So there is a daily stream. Of course, we'll keep you posted on the recent happenings at Chelsea, and it's always a pleasure to talk Chelsea with everyone. Also, on the similar note, before I read the next comment, I also asked you guys if you guys were able to figure out who's the Australian that we're trying to bring tomorrow for our stream. He's going to come here, talk to us live, straight from Australia. He's another fellow Chelsea fan. He is very famous amongst the Chelsea fan base, of course. Has been part of Carefree Lewis's channel, has been part of a couple more other channels, was also heading a different channel at one point in time. He still has a channel. I think Tobago would have got it or guessed it right, but he was also featured in football. The Football Terrace as well. So a very knowledgeable cricket. Why am I saying cricket? A very knowledgeable football fan, of course. Straight from Australia. Take your guess. Let me know. Tobago has guessed that right, and he's put that on the in a private chat as well. Yeah, you've guessed that right, Tobago. We'll wait for our people in the comment section as well to take a guess at it, and if not, towards the end of the stream, I'll of course let people know who that guest is tomorrow. And it's going to be an interesting conversation with him as well. Prashant says, I hope you collab with other YouTubers too. You collab with other YouTubers too. Yeah, definitely. Good luck. Catch you later. We definitely do that. And on the same lines is what we're talking about for tomorrow. A special guest is coming in. We also have a couple of guests lined in before the Everton game, the first Premier League game. Hopefully those are even bigger guests, and we'll try and get them on board and schedule a stream. But tomorrow, due to the guests and availability at this particular time, we will be streaming on a different time, which is 1 p.m. UK time. Roughly translates to 6:30, or I think it's 5:30. 5:30 Indian Standard Time. So there is a change in the schedule, guys. Tomorrow alone we will be doing an earlier stream. It's not 3:45 UK time, it's 1 p.m. UK time. This is to facilitate the Australian guest who's coming in, because he's already the time that he's going to be probably joining us would be around 11 o'clock for him, his time, 11 p.m. his time in Australia. So it's going to be difficult, obviously, to accommodate that. That's the reason why we've moved it a bit more forward. So 1 p.m. UK time is when we'll be streaming tomorrow. Roughly translates to 5:30 Indian Standard Time. Reading further on the comment section, Pradeep Jonathan says that who is to blame for all the targets to be missed this season? All the hype for Todd Bowley created, and only 2 signings till date, and trying to get 3 or 4 options. Third or fourth options. This is a good question. Tobago, do you want to take that? Who is to blame for this particular transfer issues this season?
To be honest, from my side, I think, like as I said, we are on a unfortunate situation that we have same targets as Barcelona, and Barcelona now have a bigger project than us. And also, Xavi is doing madness in order to get these targets. So all I'm saying, like, there's still time to send players. Now the transfer market is not closed yet. We can still send players. So again, we've got 2 brilliant signings, smart signings. So it shows the ability of Todd Bowley, like, you want to get a smart signings. Also, remember, if you did research about him, he bring the best players in his teams. So we still have time, man. I'm not gonna panic and worry. Yes, I'm worried that we've lost on Rafinha and Kunde, because they would have been brilliant players for us. But again, Barcelona now are busy targeting our targets. So hopefully now we can just do things silently, just like we do this Koulibaly, because no one knew about Koulibaly until the last minute. So again,
So according to you, it's not the problem with respect to it's not anyone's problem, but then it's more of we both sharing the same transfer target. Am I getting it right?
Yes.
Okay. My perspective on this would be a slightly different. I would still put it on an inexperienced board that we are right now having, and that's probably the reason why we're doing this. I don't want a director of football to have never played football in his life and then still doing all the negotiations, which is something that is just beyond me. How he can? I mean, I don't doubt his negotiation skills, of course, but at the same time I do have issues with him taking over a role like director of football without knowing the specifics on how English football works, how transfer negotiations work. It's not the usual baseball transfer negotiations, or the American football transfer negotiations. This is completely different. This is English football, and here there are different ways to do transfer negotiations, and it might not be a similar kind of a replica as much as what you would like, um, you know to that of the American sport. So I think that is definitely has been a point of concern. I would have had definitely a director of football. That would have probably been my second or third appointment once I'm acquiring the club. But until now, if we have not managed to get a director of football, at least on a temporary basis, that is a bit concerning to me, guys. We've had a lot of people watching the stream right now, but then the like count is obviously less. So please press that like button, and let's get kicked on from there as well. And yeah, third or fourth option. That's another concern. Good point that you brought up as well, Pradeep. We're going for third or fourth option of Thomas Tuchel and expecting him to provide the same result as much as that of what we would have expected if we had got him the first transfer. Is that the right thing to do? Getting the third or fourth option and still expecting the same result from Thomas Tuchel?
Again, unfortunately, is looking bad for us for getting a third and fourth options. So, but at least what I love it is we still have targets. We still have a list that players that the club likes, and then we prioritize the ones that we fail to get, and hopefully the ones that we also being linked with. The Tuchel have a vision about them. How will they fit into how he wants to play? So again, I still trust Tuchel because like he's a good manager. Unfortunately now he can't implement his style of play or system due to the other players that are in the squad, and he feels like they won't be able to do that. So it's a hard situation for Todd Bowley and Tuchel and the others. And I don't think like if we should have got a sporting director like immediately, would have solved our problems now because like now we lost Marina and then Peter Cech and then man.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand your frustration. But let's slowly digress from this Jules Koundé and the board topic. Of course, there are a couple of more transfer signings and possible signings that we have to probably discuss. On the same lines, I'm going to open a tweet and share it with you guys. This is something Fabrizio Romano tweeted an hour back. I want to hear your thoughts on that as well. This is Fabrizio Romano tweeting an hour back saying that Barcelona have confirmed again to Cesar Azpilicueta their intention to negotiate again with Chelsea in order to sign him. No full agreement between clubs yet, as Thomas Tuchel would love to keep Azpilicueta, but Barcelona will be on it again after completing the Koundé deal. Just to give context to people who've not been closely following this particular situation as well, this is something that has somehow linked back to Jules Koundé deal because Azpilicueta was definitely on his way out after the season. Even midway through that season, Barcelona approached Azpilicueta, kind of agreed verbally on the personal terms as well, and this transfer was definitely happening. At least that is how it seemed. But then after the Jules Koundé disappointment, I think Thomas Tuchel directly came into the press conference and actually told that he wants to keep Azpilicueta, and Azpilicueta is definitely in the plans for Thomas Tuchel in the upcoming season as well, and he is not ready to sell Azpilicueta. Given that statement, then Jules Koundé's deal obviously proceeded very far, very fastly from the Barcelona's end, because at that point in time they also became a bit nervous. They thought Maybe we will not get even Aspilicueta. At the same time, we might be losing Jules Koundé as well to Chelsea. So they negotiated a lot quicker with Sevilla and got right now the Jules Koundé deal done as well 20 minutes before, as confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. And there was a here we go as well. But Aspilicueta deal is something that they're still interested from the looks of it right now. What we hear from Fabrizio Romano and our back, according to this tweet, is that he says Cesar Azpilicueta is approached by Barcelona, and the negotiations with him, with Chelsea, will continue once the Jules Koundé deal is over the line. So they are keeping Azpilicueta informed, and at the same time, they're keeping him on his toes and making him wait for this particular transfer to happen, which also is a bit concerning for me because these players need to be playing for Chelsea Football Club. And if their mind is elsewhere on transfer sagas, obviously their focus will not be on the game, which could have a huge repercussion in how Chelsea performs, not just in the preseason, also in the Premier League games as well. I want to hear Tobago's thoughts on that, and I want to hear your thoughts as well, guys, on the comment section. Is that the right thing to do business from Barcelona? Of course, this is not, is probably what you guys will say. I'm hoping, I hear that answer, but they're doing transfers on a linear fashion where they are selling out another player, they're getting in another player at that same time, and then they're waiting for that entire agreement to complete, and then they're going for another player. Until that, they're making sure that they keep contact with that player, promising him that they will come for him, and and the same way they are actually coming for him. So is that a bit concerning for you, Tobago?
To be honest, if I was in Chelsea position, uh, uh, who's that? Aspilicueta played so a important role into our club, and then now I think it's time for him to go on a good mood, rather than, for example, keeping him and also being unhappy. I know he might not force his move to Barcelona, but again, I think now is the right time to sell him. Also, if they're being linked with Alonso, but now it's quiet. And then I will use this opportunity as Chelsea. I will use this opportunity, for example, if only Frankie de Jong is willing to leave Barcelona, I will use Alonso and Aspilicueta in order to get Frankie de Jong. Because like I feel like Frankie de Jong is unhappy at Barcelona at this moment because like they owe him money. Also, they're telling him to take a pay cut, which is not willing to take. So as Chelsea, I'll see this as an opportunity. Also, I rather sell Aspilicueta and others. Those players that feel that they are not happy at the club, we need to sell them because like they'll cause trouble for Thomas Tuchel and the club, which is not good. So hopefully, in next coming days or weeks, we should sell these players that are unhappy in the club. So it's not good having players that are unhappy in the club and want them to play. Our minds that they are elsewhere, as teachers were saying there in the press of conference. Their minds are elsewhere, so no need to keep on playing them or leaving them in our club. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but then this is another thing that has come very recently to my inbox as well. This is obviously a conversation between the Euro expert and he's another YouTuber who actually does Euro kind of game watch alongs with GNA TV, and he's pretty famous in the YouTube community. And this is a conversation between Euro expert and Barca Bus as well. That's the page. Basically, they've given some context around what exactly is happening in the Jules Koundé situation, and how the transfer saga went. So I'm just quickly going to read through it and probably let you guys know. What is actually happening. Almost every transfer in the world works through a third party company. Yeah, it's how you usually work. It's not like Barcelona bank account send money to Bodiax's bank account. Yeah, the buying club can pay in installments with credit, and the selling club can get all the money again for credit. So it's basically not that you have to pay money upfront. You can do business in credit as well, is what he's saying. That's why Barca doesn't owe a dime to Bordeaux, as they already bought the whole amount years ago. So yeah, basically they don't owe anything to Bordeaux. Barca might owe that money to that third party, like many other deals that they pay. They pay them in installments, but it's Barca versus this company, and Bordeaux are not part of that story. So what in essentially it says is that when this particular player was bought from a Bordeaux, basically it was still through a third party. So the money owed is not to Bordeaux, but at the same time, the money is owed to that particular third party. But what is the advantage of having a third party there? Yeah, let's read further. Between this, by the way, this amount was part of the amount of short-term debt that didn't allow the club to function. The board of Barcelona took office in March 2021 and immediately refinanced the um, the short-term debt and turned it into a long-term debt. Took a loan with 1.8 percentage return rate from Goldman Sachs. For people who are wondering what is this Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs is an investment company, one of the best investment companies worldwide. So they're investment management company, to be more precise. So what they do is they kind of advise people to actually invest on properties and wealth elsewhere. When I say they advise people, they usually advise millionaires and billionaires on their property management and investment management plans. So this is what they have done. They've managed to convert a short-term debt to a long-term debt, and got that for 1.8 percentage interest rate from Goldman Sachs. Imagine, guys, 1.8 percentage return rate is what they have got that loan for. You or me cannot go to any bank and get a loan for 1.8 percentage, can we cannot, obviously. But then they are billionaires, they of course can do things the way that they want to, because they have enough credit, in their pocket, or collateral in their pocket, to justify the means. Coming to this topic again, short term debt being converted to a long term debt, it's nothing but, let's say you have a 5 year, so let's say you have a 5 year loan for 100 million. That's your short term debt. And what you immediately do is you call up the company, you say that let's spread this particular debt across 15 years, at this particular rate of interest, and I'll still pay you that 100 million. Yeah. So only the number of repayment years will increase, but at the same time, your um, principal that you have to pay back the company will still be there. The advantage for the bank by doing this is that they're not putting too much pressure on the on the money that is being owed, but at the same time they have it spread across for 15 years, which means that this particular party will be their customer for 15 years period of time. Considering inflation, that definitely is a value for the club, sorry, for the bank. Reading further into it, uh, that's why Barcelona has cash flow to buy players. And the only problem they still have is the FFP rules of La Liga, but they will handle that as well, as they did with everything else. Because of them spreading this loan across a long term debt, what happened is that the loan pressure that they had on the club now had been spread out for a longer period of time, for more number of years, which eased out a bit of a pressure in terms of them having to pay back the bank the amount of money on a monthly basis or a yearly basis. That money right now has become less, which means that they have come out of that pressure, and now they can focus more on that money being invested into the players. But they cannot just go ahead and invest into the players because they have the FFP, of course, that prevents them from just splashing cash on players and getting them to their club. Further reading into it, if it wasn't all about attacking, Barca as a club that is trending to attack now, and you really want to educate yourself, I would recommend you to read two articles I wrote about the financial status of FC Barcelona, only if you want. Yeah. All right, that's pretty much it. I think it kind of makes sense. Guys, let me know on the comment section if you have any doubts in what we read. But then I kind of understood from that basically you're dealing with a third party, which is anyways that is known to us. But this was a news to me, where the short term debt is being converted to a long term debt, and thereby having a lower rate of interest, facilitating the ease of loan for them, and thereby making sure that they can go for player signings and just have to manage and maintain only the FFP. That's a very good way to operate, but how far it is going to be successful, and the way that they are selling their rights to media rights and all of that to facilitate this player acquisition is all that a bit concerning if I was a Barcelona fan. But yeah, they're finding ways. Hopefully, they find ways um, in a way that it doesn't affect other entities or other football club. But it's always a concern when it comes to Barcelona and their financial matters. Uh, I hope this is something that is being looked at by the FFP team as well, and just ensure that Barcelona are not just cheating their way through it. I'm not saying they're cheating, but this is something that needs confirmation, of course. Um, anyways, this is something that has to be done by the authority, so let's leave it to the authority. But I've been looking at Twitter spaces, and I've been talking to some of the Twitter YouTubers as well. What I hear from them is that Wesley Fofana is definitely worth the investment, but Chelsea going for that particular person without proper research is a bit concerning. It's a bit worrying because they don't know if it will end up once again like Thomas Tuchel, um, you know, wanting Romelu Lukaku, but then, not wanting Romelu Lukaku, but then still forced on him. Anyways, that's one thing. And the last news that I had for the day, guys, you've been a wonderful chat as well. So keep those comments coming, and I'm just gonna take a look at the last detail that I wanted to talk to you guys about. This is by Jack Lowy. Again, I'm going to share my screen and show you guys this Twitter page. This is by Jack Lowy. He is someone who is in the know of on the Manchester United specifics, and he's basically tweeted saying that Jorge Mendes has asked. Jorge Mendes, for those people who do not know, Jorge Mendes is the agent of Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, so Jorge Mendes has asked Manchester United to renew Cristiano Ronaldo's contract per Partidoscope. This is basically a Spanish podcast outlet. So basically, they provide similar to that of a Gerard Romero. They provide Twitch and podcast content, again similar to us, right? Like me, I do podcasts as well, and I do YouTube. So they do the same thing. So according to this person, apparently they have a huge following as well in Twitter. I think it's close to 499.4K followers. So fairly a big fan base for this particular entity. But then let's get to the news now. Jorge Mendes has asked Manchester United to renew Cristiano Ronaldo's contract per Partidoscope. In return, Ronaldo would leave on loan and be able to play for the Champions League side. Guys, I want to understand what do you think about it? Good question from Nick Knack. Why do they need to renew his contract to loan him out? That's probably because they fear. I mean, even if he is Cristiano Ronaldo, there is a fear of the age factor, of course. So he needs to secure himself in terms of having another couple of years in his contract, which also makes him which also gives him a sense of security for the next years to come. And that's the reason at this point in time, usually in people's career, they look for a long-term contract, and the clubs will be reluctant to give long-term contracts. This is something that is not new. Of course, every agent and agent of the player would recommend this to be done, because this is something that just secures the future of the player and not also of the club, of the agent as well. Why extend your contract at a club you don't want to play for? Good question. That is again something I'll again relate it back to what I just said before. This has got more to do with their financial security. I don't think so it's the love for Manchester United as such. It's more of like, let's have a 2-3 year deal or something. And if your plan is working out, and if you are getting us back to the Champions League, then I'll come and play for you. Or otherwise, I'll just extend the loan with the other team as well. It's going to be like Romelu Lukaku situation, right? He can extend a loan for another year as well, as confirmed by Inter Milan. This is probably what Ronaldo will also try and do until Manchester United come back to that Champions League position. And the problem right now, Nick, is that no club is ready to pay his wages, yeah, except for Manchester United. And Jorge Mendes would have advised Cristiano Ronaldo to probably extend his contract, because this is probably the only club which will work with him to extend his contract at the wages currently he is in. Because every club in the world wants Cristiano Ronaldo, but then they don't want Cristiano Ronaldo for the wage that he is on currently. And that is the reason why he thinks maybe a loan deal can benefit both the parties, where maybe 50% of his wages will be paid by one club and the other 50% might be paid by Manchester United. So Manchester United wouldn't mind reducing 250K a week on their loan book, or on their wage book. At the same time, a new club that is coming in for Cristiano Ronaldo would still just be paying 100 to 150, which makes him more sellable in the market, or more loanable in the market. And that's probably the reason why he wants this sort of a deal. It would make a lot of sense for him to think that way, and I think it's a good advice as well from Jorge Mendes. And he would return to Manchester United only when they're back into the Champions League, is what I'd hope for. But if this is happening, and if you have an option to actually get Cristiano Ronaldo on a loan for a season or two, tell me on the comment section, guys. Would you take him? We don't have to pay anymore the 14-15 million that we are supposed to pay him that we are supposed to pay Manchester United if it was a permanent transfer. That is not happening right now, guys. It's probably going to be a loan move. If it is going to be a loan move, all that we have to take care is his wages. And of course, when people are on high wages, we can definitely have a negotiation with the club that is loaning him out, or loaning them out, and ensure that we pay only a part of his wages and not the entirety. Which means that if Cristiano Ronaldo is ready to take a wage cut, say he's on 500K a week, according to the sources, I think it's according to the sources, he is at 500K a week. If he reduces that to 450 or 420K a week, just for argument's sake, and then he decides to just sign a 3-year contract on 420K a week with Manchester United, and both the parties, let's say Chelsea is in for Cristiano Ronaldo for a year season, what it can do is Chelsea can just say that I'm going to pay only 50% of your wage, which is going to be 210K, and I'll be having to use your service for the entire year. At the same time, 210K a week is something Manchester United should consider, should be taking in their wage book as well, for loaning the player. Now, if you understand what I mean, it doesn't feel more heavy on the books of any of these clubs, which will make it more easy for Cristiano Ronaldo to go play for another club, which he wants to do, which is at this point in time more of a Champions League club. So that party is sorted. The incoming club will just have to pay 210K a week for a player, and like player quality like Cristiano Ronaldo, they'll still be ready to pay that. So that party is sorted. And Manchester United right now, who are paying 420K a week, will now, or 500K a week, will now only have to pay 210K a week, and they have option to get back Cristiano Ronaldo at any point in time, if they want him to come back to his club and play for some more time. So that's how all three parties might be satisfied. I think it's a fair deal, if you ask me. There are obviously negatives to it as well, but right now it's a good advice that was given by his agent Jorge Mendes to Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United as well. He's probably asking Manchester United for another couple of years in his contract. Nick Knack goes on to says, if Ronaldo pays 20 million in compensation to Manchester United, they could mutually agree to cancel his contract. Well, they could do that, because he just have one more year left on the contract. But would he want to actually do that is a bit of a question. 20 million, of course, for a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, it doesn't really matter. If he wants to really do it, he still can go ahead and do it. But considering a contract null and void is something that usually doesn't pan out very well in the footballing community and in the society, because you signed a contract with Manchester United. The PR that he's probably going to get through that, it's probably going to be a negative PR. I don't think so Cristiano Ronaldo at this age would want that sort of a PR, a negative PR, because all that it also tells you is that he's basically setting a precedence. Yeah, he's basically setting a precedence where he says, you know what, if I pay the money and then I make the contract null and void, I can get out of the club and I go to a different club. Yeah, a player like Cristiano Ronaldo doing that to Manchester United, his club where he started, playing at the top of the level, and Alex Ferguson is someone who he has a lot of respect on. That Manchester United, I don't think so he would, create a situation where it ends up having a null and void contract. Or Ronaldo just could agree to a fat pay cut, to whatever a Champions League team is willing to pay if he is keen to move. Yeah, a 210K a week contract will also be a good thing, but I don't think so Ronaldo wants to take that sort of a pay cut, because as much as what we can say, Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, is a billionaire, and why would he not take a pay cut if he wants to play for an additional year? As your assets increase, as your money increase, obviously your investments would increase, and your lifestyle would increase, and all of that would increase. So we don't exactly know what is the financial situation of Cristiano Ronaldo and what is expected of him on a yearly basis to pay those, or to afford those lifestyle that he right now has. So if at all he has planned it for 400K a week and not lesser than that, then the loan move would be the right way to go. And it would be kind of diminishing for him as well in the footballing community to pay for to play for a Champions League club, even though he plays on a 210K a week, because he's one such top talent. Even if you take age out of the equation, he's really a top talent. 210K a week for someone like Cristiano Ronaldo is definitely something that he wouldn't write, like, it wouldn't reflect very positively on him. That would just diminish his value in world football. That's something that he wouldn't want to have right now as well. Nick Nack says, well, it's up to him. Does he want Champions League football or not? Yeah, probably. I think your question is valid. Does he want Champions League football? Just come and play for us for free. That's probably how you're saying, or probably just take 200K or 210K and come and play for the team. I don't think so. It's that binary of a situation, and it's probably the reason why there is a bit of a loan argument that is going on. Because again, end of the day, Jorge Mendes' job is to find a deal which suits all the three parties, and I think this is a fair deal from the looks of it, that can benefit all three parties involved. Just happened with Aaron Ramsey this week. Aaron Ramsey is completely different, right? I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is on a different level, of course. I think it's already past the point of saving his reputation with Alex and the United fans now. I think United fans still respect him as a player, maybe not as someone who is helping the team right now, given the team's situation currently is in. But then I still think United fans have a huge respect for him, for whatever he's done for the club and the history that he has with the club. Him deciding to come back to Manchester, the other side of Manchester as well. He denied going to the other side of Manchester and ended back at Manchester United. A very sentimental move, and I think a lot of Manchester United fans still respect him for that. But him not suiting the system that Eric Ten Hag or Ralph Ragnick wanted to implement is something that was a bit of concern for these guys. I don't think so. They still there is anything more to that. It's more of him not suiting the system. I don't think so. It's more of him being hated at at Manchester United because of what he's doing. He is effed him over. His effed them over is what he's done. I'd like to hear more on that. He basically says, he basically had some issues with the managers, and certain topics that he mentioned as well seem to be right. In terms of his comments on the young players not ready to listen to top talents like him. For one, I think there is still a bit of a love there for Manchester United fans for Cristiano Ronaldo. If he does this, making a contract null and void, and chucking and moving away from Manchester United, I think that will have definitely a more tainting experience in his Manchester United career, which he would want to end on the right terms. Anyways, guys, I think that's pretty much what we have for today. We've again streamed for 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's what usually we stream. The timing is close to 1 hour and 20 minutes is what we usually have. And it's been a wonderful stream. A lot of beautiful questions as well from Nick Knack, Pradeep, Tobago. Couple of questions from Prashant Singh as well. Daniel Crane came in. He tweeted out the Fabrizio Romano tweet, gave us a shocker, and went back. Akbar as well. Akbar Valentine joined us for the first time. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And guys, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. We do provide quality content on a daily basis. Tomorrow we are joined by a very special guest who I told you I would be announcing towards the end of the stream, which I'm doing right now. The new guest, or the special guest that we have for tomorrow, is Matt from Zivoi channel. Matt is someone who is from Australia. He's done a lot of live streams with and been a panel for a lot of streams, including that of that Carefree Lewis and GNA TV, as well as Football Terrace. So he's definitely a wonderful panelist. Tomorrow we will be having him as a special guest, and I'm excited. But there will be definitely a change in timing tomorrow. The time that we stream, it's going to be 1 p.m. UK time, and which roughly translates to 5:30 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Oh no, 5:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So yeah, that's what I had as an update for you guys. What do you think will happen with Ronaldo, VJ, before you go? It's very difficult to predict at this point in time, because Jorge Mendes historically has been an agent where he sometimes takes decisions. I wouldn't say rashly, but then he takes decisions which are not something that we would expect from his players. He's had a history doing so. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, is another. I would really call him eccentric and all that, but then his decisions can be surprising to us. And he is one of the best players that we have in the world at this point in time. So any team that would want to have him in the club would be lucky to have him. I still think there is a slim possibility for Cristiano Ronaldo being approached by Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, and we having him for a year or two. Would that be the right way to go about in terms of the business? I'm not so much in agreement with that, but is that a realistic possibility to happen with Thomas Tuchel in charge and Todd Boehly, an American owner, looking things from a business perspective? I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. That's my 2 cents on Cristiano Ronaldo situation. But then I'll keep you posted as and when changes come in this transfer saga. And of course, there's been huge changes coming in. Nick Knack also says United would never let him go to Chelsea, surely. I mean, does United really have a rivalry with Chelsea anyways? I mean, they do have a rivalry with Liverpool and Manchester City, but with us, not so much. So, if at all they want to sell to a top 4 Premier League clubs, I think we'll be one amongst the two that they would want to sell. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Yeah, they of course can go out of Europe to sell him to Bayern or something. But Bayern right now are not probably interested. They are obviously looking for someone to replace Lewandowski, but will Bayern be interested in getting Cristiano Ronaldo to their team? Something that we have to wait and watch. Both vying for the same top 2, top 4 spots. Right now, I don't think so. Manchester United are coming anywhere near the top 4. Maybe top 6, but not for top 4. So I don't see the reason why they should be doing it. Maybe they shouldn't be selling him to Arsenal. I will understand if they don't do that. And Tottenham, because they are very strong contenders for that 4th spot all three of them: Manchester United, Tottenham, and Arsenal. But given the last year's league standings, I think these will be places where Manchester United will be more concerned of them leaving to. I get your point. Chelsea are on the decline. United have just hired a top manager, so the gap is bound to narrow the season. I get your point. This can happen realistically, but I still would not agree to the fact that they will have a rivalry with Chelsea, and that's probably the reason why they won't sell him to Chelsea, because I think they have a lot more teams to deal with before even they get their hands on Chelsea. So right now, Chelsea are not their direct rivals, and it will remain so for a year or so, because we still don't know how Ten Hag will be operating under Premier League pressure. There's a good chance he might falter as well. And if that happens, how they react to that situation is something that we have to wait and watch as well. Yes, we've got 20 people watching the stream. Okay, 15 people right now watching the stream. Please press that like button before you leave. Also consider subscribing to the channel. We are just 11 short of 300 subscriber mark. It will be a pleasure if we reach it as quick as possible. We're going at a very good speed, and soon we'll be able to reach that 1K mark as well. Well, we'll have to see what happens, won't we? Exactly, we'll have to see what happens as we won't we? And hopefully things happen on a positive note for Chelsea. And I, for one, would not have a lot of problems or disagreements with Cristiano Ronaldo signing for Chelsea on a loan basis, but on a permanent deal, yes, I would have concerns over it. That's my 2 cents on the Ronaldo situation. So with that, we are done for today, guys. We'll soon we'll talk tomorrow, of course, 1 p.m. UK time with our special guest Matt. Please make sure to join the stream, and have your questions ready for our Australian friend, Chelsea supporter, fellow Chelsea supporter. Talk to you guys soon. You guys have a great day. Yeah, putting this on the screen. Werner Ronaldo swap, maybe. Anyway, bye for now. Yeah, if that swap happens, I don't know if Manchester United have got their right managers and the right talents in the leadership role, anyways. But yeah, enough about the Ronaldo saga. My 2 cents on the Ronaldo topic. I just told you guys on the 2 cents on my 2 cents on the Ronaldo topic. So until next time, this is VJ signing off. You guys have a brilliant day. We'll talk tomorrow with Matt. Just make sure that you subscribe to the channel on your way out. Thank you.